Hey everyone, we're back. I'm Lauren.
Lucy.
Better You is Better Living. And I am so excited for this episode. I'm over here like, was it fanboying? Like,
No.
But we have with us today, Tyler and Becca from Adventure for Six. So first off, what do you guys do?
So we are just, your average family, but
Right?
not really.
Not average, actually. Disagree.
So Tyler is a physical therapist
Okay.
and works full time with that. And then we started less than a year ago a Instagram channel for our adventures as a family. We have 4 young kids and we bike, hike, ski, go boating. What else?
Climb.
Go climbing, yeah, all the things. And we bought an adventure van and
Hence the name.
hence the name.
Adventure, play on words there. 4,
Yes.
6.
That's
like
right.
S-I-X.
Because there is 6
Because
of
there's
us.
6 of you.
Yeah.
So that's totally cool.
It was
Like,
Tyler's name. He came up with it.
all right,
There
all
we go,
right.
yeah.
I like it. But you guys, seriously though, I'm like, you guys are my people. Like, I want to do
Yeah.
what you do. Like
Thank
when I
you.
say I'm over here like fanboying, like I am. I'm like, oh yeah, like
He is. He's talked about you guys quite a bit. He's very, very, very excited you're here.
don't
Oh,
make it
that's so
weird.
sweet.
I'm not making it weird. I'm just affirming that you are thrilled and
Yes.
excited and that they are living your dream life.
Yes,
Oh, that's super
yes.
nice.
And and I've seen, there's the van life movement, if you will.
Mhm.
And you guys are getting into that now. You're not full-timers though, correct? You're not full-time van life people.
No. we
Is
are
that
not.
your goal?
Nope.
No. You spend enough time in the van and you realize it's too much for 6 people to be full time.
Yeah, we just did a little trip to Sun Valley last week, 2 weeks ago, and stuck in the van with 6 people.
When
It
it's
was a
cold
little tight,
outside.
Cold
and-
outside. Kids didn't want to go outside and play or anything, and so we were like, yeah, we could not do this full time. This is a lot. So, but when it's warm and they're out playing, it's a breeze. It's just
Right.
when it was
Different.
cold. Yeah.
Explain the setup of your van itself, because obviously there's different styles of van life, and I don't know that I'm as familiar with your setup. So how's your van structured and what?
I'm going to let the van guru take that one.
Okay.
So.
All right. So it's built out in 80/20 aluminum framing type of stuff. And it has 2 bunk beds in the back, but they're kind of Murphy beds. They go against the wall and can come back down. So you can it's pretty modular in that sense. And it has 2 2-seater benches. And then it's got the driver and the passenger seat that can swivel and not swivel. But for sleeping arrangements, we have, me and my wife up top, 2 kids in the bottom bunk, and the other 2 kids on another little setup that we have on the swivel seats. But it's a very, I would say, kind of more basic setup. Like, it's not the night, like, I don't know if you guys seen like the really, really nice built out vans that are like 500 grand.
Right.
That is not
like
us.
the wood
Like
grain
Oh,
paneling.
yeah.
the lighting and the showers. No, we have like a porta potty we got that we take out and we set up a tent. Like we don't have a shower. Well, we do have a shower, but it goes to the back of the van that opens up with the doors. So it's a more basic setup, but it fits all 6 of us for sleeping and seating, and that was really what we wanted to
What you
find.
needed.
Yeah.
Do you have room then? Because I know that you guys are big. You're up in the snow a lot, and obviously you're doing other outdoor activities as well. So how does your equipment and all of that fit when you're traveling? And I'm assuming the bench seating is where your kids are and buckled. And I spent 14 days in a rented RV or a motorhome, which is not quite what you were describing, but close. And everyone had to be buckled, and it just made for an interesting drive because I was imagining that we would all be sitting around the table, I don't know, playing cards, eating chips while someone was driving the motorhome, and that's not how it ended up happening. So that was a little bit of a letdown. But I'm just curious to know, I'm assuming they're strapped in, but then that still leaves room for your equipment and your toys and the things that you're that you're taking with you?
Yeah, so we have to get creative with our storage, obviously, because there's not a ton of that space. But like you said, we have our 2 beds, and then underneath the bottom bed, it's just completely blank. And so that's where we put all the stuff. And we have a big fridge freezer combo that goes under there. We have our kitchen box, and we have storage on the wall that kids' clothes get put into. Their toys are under their chairs, they're under their seats. So we have a box that we put on the back that carries skis, especially
Okay.
for the winter time, but then carries all the other stuff in the summer. So
Wow, it's amazing.
Yeah, with like biking, we have to put the bike rack on the back, and so then we have to get a little bit
more
creative with trying to figure out where putting all of our biking equipment, because then we have to take the boost box off, and so it's just being a creative and trying to figure out how we can fit all of us in there. And we'll see what happens in 5 years when the kids are bigger.
Yeah, a little
and
taller.
and yeah. So, but we're
But
gonna
hopefully they won't need any more gear. Like
Right.
we pack 6 bikes and 6 helmets or 6 sets of ski boots or so.
And
Hopefully.
they'll probably be used to it because that's how they've grown up,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
So
they
they
won't
won't
know
be-
any different.
Yeah.
different.
They
So-
won't be like, I need more stuff and room and
Mhm.
all that stuff.
It's
But
just
yeah.
the way it is.
So I assume you guys were participating in these types of activities before you even bought the van.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So your kids they've grown up this way and love the outdoors and
Yeah.
okay.
So we both have had a love for outdoors. Tyler did a lot more of these activities before we met. So he grew up skiing and mountain biking, and we both grew up camping. And then I've learned and adopted some of them all of them as an adult. But yeah, all of our kids have started biking and hiking and skiing and boating when they were just tiny. So
That's
So, yeah.
that's awesome.
yeah, it's fun.
So how did it go from like you're doing all these things and then when was it like, let's get a van? Like how did
And
that
let's
work out?
post it all over Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that was an afterthought. But
Yeah.
this guy had the van dream.
So a few years ago, camping just was really hard with small children.
I
and
can
struggled.
attest to that.
Yeah,
Tent
it-
camping.
tent
Ooh.
camping with kids, and then if with weather and just packing stuff up and bringing, and having a job, a 9 to 5 job during the week, like trying to take a short weekend and just go
Like
for
one
camping.
night of camping
One night
Right.
of camping.
Right.
Right.
We've done that. It wasn't
lot of work.
Yeah, it's not a lot of. It's not saying it's not a lot of fun, but it's just a lot of work for that amount of fun.
Right.
And so trying to figure out a certain avenue where we can just get in, go, come back type of thing really quick. And so I started looking at just camper trailers, vans, just a lot of different little things. And we stumbled. I saw the vans and I saw all these different adventure overlanding vans, and I'm like, man, can we fit 6? Like, is this going to be a thing? Like, can we do this? And so I started looking at different companies. There's quite a few here in Utah, Colorado, California. I mean, there's a ton.
Right.
And they're all like fit for 5. They all like that was like the max. I couldn't find a van company that would build out for 6 until I found there was a couple companies that we found, and the one we chose was Van Do It, and that they their build out process and how they did it was perfect for us. And so that's how I came to find them, and that's how we came to find let's do this van thing. And this was during COVID, and so we had to save up tons of money because I started to see how much it would cost, and so I was like, well,
Because
let's
every little thing is, every tiny thing is an
Uh-huh.
add-on, and you just
Yep.
your brain
there's
wants to
$1,000,
explode.
there's $1,000, and so we're just like, how are we going to do this financially? Because like we said, my wife's a stay-at-home mom, and I'm a physical therapist, and so
We were already pouring everything we had into ski passes and new
Right.
bikes for our kids, and so it was like,
so
is this even a thing?
it's
we
even
can
gonna be
do?
feasible for us to
Yeah.
do. And so I got up with like a van, they call them a van guru is for Van Do It, and talked to them and figured out what the pricing and everything would be. And we chatted, and they kind of gave me an estimate price, but they're like, well, the wait time's 1.5 years because of
Oh.
a lot of
COVID,
just
yeah.
COVID just
Right.
stopped
Yeah.
everything.
Materials
for-
were
yeah.
Yeah.
nowhere to be found
Nothing and
for anything.
They couldn't get vans fast enough
Yeah.
for how much, and so I was like, year and a half, can we save?
Like, we can do that.
I think we can maybe save up a big down payment on it to be able to and then make it work, and just put everything into it. And then that escalated a lot of other different things of how we're going to save money and what we're going to change our lifestyle to be able to do that. Because now that we're putting all this money into this, we're going to have to do this, and this to be able to do this. And I wanted to get her on board. And so we chatted a bit about it, and she really just went along with it. I mean, I'm
I'm a
sure
super nice guy.
Yeah, that's awesome.
seriously, like I was like very like there was like
He
no
was
like
waiting to like,
I was like, is it gonna be-
Debate it out.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
It's
was
gonna
like,
I've got a PowerPoint
Yeah,
presentation.
seriously. I was thinking about doing something like that. I was like, how do like these
I've
the
done
pros,
that.
cons, like
Right.
we're gonna do this and this
Mhm.
and she was like, yeah,
Okay.
you know, and I'm sure maybe like she went in the back room was like, no, you know, like but or is this the thing? Is he crazy?
I just
'Cause I
always
have-
kept asking, are you sure?
because
Like,
Yeah.
I will support you. I'm on board, but you have to be sure.
Yeah.
Because it is 6 people in a van, and it's a lot of money, and it's a lot of. But yeah.
Well, it's a way of life.
Yeah.
At this point.
Yeah.
at this point, yeah, we've definitely changed. We kind of go against the grain of how we're raising our kids a little bit compared to the normal rec comp sports type of stuff too with kids and what they're doing, and at those type of activities we're not doing the same activities a lot of families do for their kids, and it's not saying that our way's better, it's just different.
Right.
Right. But I like it because you're together all the time instead of, I mean, 4 kids, and you look around, 4 kids, that could easily be 4 to 8 different sports
Oh, yeah.
that you are just constantly doing this and
Right.
all over the place all the time. So there's not a lot of that family togetherness
Mhm.
and doing things together. So I think it's great. Like
Thanks.
I wish my kids ski with me. No.
Even
I really do. But
Well, I was going to say, you would have to learn how to get along with your siblings and your family in such close quarters,
Mhm.
because you will make each other miserable. And whether you have that conversation, whether they're aware of that or not, subconsciously they are learning that they have to find ways to get along and to play well together and to work well together. And they're creating memories and friendships that, I mean, I just think it's actually a real beautiful concept, because if they can learn to get along, which it sounds like they probably do.
They really do.
Yeah.
People always ask, like, do your kids really just like love being together? Like,
Yeah.
are they really that good? And I'm like, look, they have moments, but
Of course.
they're just golden. Like, they really, people want to see the chaos and the madness, and I'm like, it's very minimal.
Right.
I'd be pulling my phone out for 5 seconds to a minute long of madness, and it's not worth it. So I'm
Yeah.
like, the more they're together, the easier it gets, and they
Right.
adapt, and we all adapt.
Right.
So.
Yeah, like I said, you have to learn how to get along. And so I just think it's it's creating beautiful memories and friendships. And there's life skills that are, so many life skills that are being cultivated in this lifestyle that you're creating, that your kids are going to carry with them into everything.
That's the hope.
So
Yeah, because I've been hesitant. I grew up playing baseball
We both
competitive.
grew up
we
playing
both
sports.
sports competitively. Like that was my life. That was her life. Like we did sports. And then to not do this, I feel like sometimes I'm like going against what my dad taught me, like, or like what my parents did, like, is this okay? Should I be doing this? I mean, all my buddies are doing this with their kids. They talk about going down to this competition or this thing or that thing. And but then I see my kids, like Becca was saying, when we do these things together, and they love being together, and we're learning new things. It's not like we're not teaching them new things, and I'm trying to learn new things to teach them, and we get to be together. We don't have to separate, and one parent goes this way and one parent goes that way, or one parent's trying to find rides for this person, one parent's trying, so that's our hope.
We'll see how long we can ride it out. Hopefully,
Hey, I
long
think you
enough.
guys are doing a good job.
Yeah.
Like,
So
that's super cool. So, I've seen your van. It's pretty awesome. Run into you guys
you.
up skiing,
Mhm.
and I'm always like, and you can spot your van. Okay, so because it's rad though.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you can spot it because it's rad. Like you can go through the parking lot and be like, yeah, there's all the gray Sprinter vans. But then I'm like, that's adventure for
Oh,
six.
what's the marker?
So tell us, why does your van stand out, and what led to doing it like that?
we had a lot of different options. Obviously, you can go with the normal color. You can do a wrap when that's what we have on ours is a wrap. And Tyler went back and forth with what he wanted almost a week up until we got it. And I was like, "You're done. We're not having this conversation. It's been
We're
decided."
picking it up and
Yeah, we're literally on the plane, and he's like, "Did we make the right choice on the wrap?" And I'm like, "It doesn't
It's too
matter
late
now.
already on it.
cut those." But we really wanted it to be our van,
Mhm.
and we wanted it to exemplify us and who we are. And so we have two of our favorite places. I mean, we do a lot of mountain sports. We do a lot of desert sports. And Tyler grew up his whole life going down to Moab and spent so much time there with his family. So a lot of special connections there. I mean, I think Simon, our oldest, he's almost 10. I think he's hiked Delicate Arch like 4 times, 5
Wow.
in his
Nice.
life, you know?
Nice.
I'm like, so we have
And at midnight one time.
at midnight at one time. Yes.
That's the time
So
to do it. That's cool.
we have a lot of a pole there. So the one side has different spots from arches, and the other spot has the Tetons, which is just a gorgeous mountain range. And we even have a cairn, right? That's how you say it. Cairn.
Karen.
Cairn. Always. Cairn on the side, which has 6 rocks, and it is our family.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That is so awesome because I see it, and it, like, I'll admit those are some of my 2 favorite places too. My
Mhm.
family goes to Arches a lot, and then we're actually talking about booking the campground
Yeah.
for the fall.
Mhm.
But and then we go to Grand Teton a lot. So 2 of my favorite places. So I'm like, I can relate, and I'm like,
Mhm.
heck yeah.
Yeah.
But I didn't know. Now I'm gonna
Yep.
look at your van and be like, where are the 6 rocks?
Yeah.
And
They're
I'm-
right on my passenger door side.
You've just
and-
deepened his appreciation
Yeah.
for your
Oh,
van.
this is so cool.
Yeah.
I love it. So then you do this rap thing, and you're doing all this, and you've kind of fallen in with the Van Do It crew, right? And I actually saw a van by them last year when I was in Grand Teton at Coulter Bay,
Cool.
and I was like, Van Do It, like, oh, hey, that's awesome. But yeah, so you kind of fell in with them,
Mhm.
and then now you've like kind of, I would dare say you guys are like blowing up. Like,
Yes.
You
Slowing
guys-
down a little bit now, but it blew up.
Yeah.
yeah. So you guys kind of took this and ran with it. So what's your direction? What are you kind of going with this and your van adventures?
So, I mean, honestly, we were like, we'll just give it a try. We'll see if anybody even cares. Like, we've had friends that were like, you guys do way too much cool stuff to not share it with people. And I'm like, oh, I guess you're right. And I've always taken videos and pictures like crazy of my kids.
I've
So,
always made fun of her for doing that.
always.
I'm like, what are you gonna do with all of this? Is it just gonna go?
We're gonna
into a
retire
USB
Dad and do this full time.
USB drive, and it's just gonna
We're
be
gonna
in
get
there.
a sweet van, and it's gonna be
Yeah,
awesome.
right? And I'm like, okay,
Living in a
now-
van down by the river.
Seriously.
Only it's cool.
So now he appreciates the fact that I've been doing that our whole lives. And so we're like, well, we'll just give it a shot and see. And it's been a learning curve, and I've had to kind of learn Instagram and how to be a content creator and what it takes and we've had Van Do It in our corner the whole time from the very beginning. They've supported us and put us on their bankroll basically for some content, which is huge. And we just love them and love their company. So we're like, well, we'll just do it and see what it comes of it. And it's exploded in a year, and it's been a lot of fun. And so it's fun to share our activities and our story, and the amount of messages that we get, and like, oh, I never knew you could do van with 4 kids. Like, I want to do that, or this is my dream. Like, how did you do this, or how?
My dream.
So, but it's really inspiring to see that we can make a difference for good and inspire people to just get outside and connect with their kids. And that's the whole point of the van's nice, and it helps draw people in to our story. But the real point of the Instagram is
It's the bonding.
don't wait. Yeah. Make the connections, do what you have to spend time with your kids, and just.
And at the end of the day, she's doing it for me.
Oh yeah, he's my biggest fan. He watches every video like 20 times.
I'll like sit in my before we go to bed. I'm like scrolling through the videos. I'm like, I'm gonna watch all of these, and then like I just get like teary eyed. It's no, seriously, it's like it's the best thing. Like I love being able to watch those and be able to just reminisce of the good old times, like because you're never gonna have those back.
Yeah.
And
Right.
And our kids love it. They get stoked. They're like, I'm like, hey, do you want to see this video? When I made like ski videos for each of our kids, I tried to do one for each, and Mom, that was so cool.
I think that's amazing because
They
I
love
mean,
it.
they appreciate it and you appreciate it. And what they're really saying is, I'm taking a minute to reflect on my life, and I've got gratitude and joy and fulfillment, right? That's really what you're saying when you're sitting there watching those, even if it's, once or 20 times.
Yeah.
That's really the message, that, that your heart is swelling with gratitude and joy. And that's beautiful right there.
I tell Tyler all the time, I'm like, how is this our life? Like, we're just beyond grateful.
You just created it.
Yeah.
You just did
Step by step.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, that's so cool.
But, yeah.
Sorry, did you?
Well, I was just, on that note of creating your life, I think that's maybe the piece that we're wanting our listeners to recognize and to see, that you do have the power to create your life, whatever you want it to look like. It doesn't need to be a van life,
No.
right? And so if I don't know if you can do this, especially, on the cuff, but if you could reflect on your experience and on your journey and find 3 points, 3 principles almost that you felt were important to your success. And I don't mean just the Instagram blow up and things like that. I mean successful in actually creating the life that you wanted, that you envisioned for yourself. Are there things that you could share with others? It doesn't matter what kind of life they're wanting to create. There's got to be principles and things that you thought through or were aware of or intentional about to help you guys make this transition to this kind of life.
Yeah, absolutely. You want me to start?
Yep.
I think it all it comes down to focus and intention. When you look at what you really want out of your life, do you want a fancy car? Do you want to be able to go on a trip? Do you want to get, weekly takeout? Or do you want to have an extra $50 for a camp out? Like, what do you really want? And being laser focused. Like you said, when we ordered the van, we had 1.5 years to come up with a sizable down payment. And it was laser focused to the point that we even didn't buy ski passes. And we just at Snow Basin, and we bought them in the spring. Thankfully, it was like the best year when it snowed so hard in the spring.
It was so bad. That year that we didn't buy season passes was the year that
he cried every week.
That was the year that dumped.
That was the year that
That year
dumped.
That was the year.
I did
Epic
not
year.
buy season passes that year.
Yeah,
that would be hard.
And it was super.
It was a big
I am
sacrifice.
so sorry.
but
But now it's even more like,
but I was
Whoa, yeah.
but we were so focused on being able to
Right.
like we want this, and
that's a
this-
sacrifice.
and
Thankfully, you still got like 6 weeks in the spring. I mean,
Which
that
was still epic.
And they were
It was still-
epic.
it was
So you
still
skied
good.
like
It was-
you
oh,
skied
I
like
skied so
30
much.
pow days.
You made
I
up
was like,
for
I
it.
really got- I'm sick, No,
Yeah.
but seriously, like it, like, and like working, like I worked so many weekends, overtime. Like we put in a lot of time, and we gave up doing a lot of stuff.
I think we got pizza like one night a month, and
If
I
that
just
was.
made dinner like every night. Like we just didn't
You didn't spend on anything.
spend extra.
No.
Like we
Yeah.
just, unless we needed it, we just didn't.
So it's very intentional, and back to that. I back to the point of, I wanted to raise my us to raise our family to be together. And this was the way that I felt like would be the best way to do it. And that was very intentional for us to do that. I wanted to figure out a way that we could just always want to spend time with each other, but still do fun things together. And to have our kids still want to hang out with dad and mom, even when we get older. Like we have 18 years, you know.
Yep.
And maybe not even that. Maybe
Right.
even when
If you're
they're
lucky.
teenagers. Yeah. If,
Yeah.
you know, 15 years old, they may not even want to spend time with me.
Right.
But if I can provide them with certain things to do with us that they want to continue to be with us at such a young age to build that up, then let's do it. And that was one of my main reasons of wanting to go this direction is let's figure out a way that our kids want to love us and have us be cool parents, hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you know what that
you just
sounds
did it to
like.
be cool parents. That's
That's just
all.
cool parents. But what you're addressing is your why. You answered your why.
Yeah.
Which I would probably count as point number 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Knowing your why.
Yeah, and I think one thing that we learned along the way, which the van has even helped change our mindset on this, but just because something is difficult or challenging doesn't mean it's not also worthwhile and fun. And that's like something that we've held on to is like, you know, okay, maybe this season is hard of whatever we're trying to do, but something worthwhile can come out of it. And just being able to see that focus and that drive of like, it's okay, I can do the hard stuff because it can result in good. And every activity we do with our kids, skiing or mountain biking, it's like, it's hard. There's hard things that we do, and trying to teach them that like, you can do hard things and you can still find joy and you can find happiness, and not to let the limiting belief of, well, that's hard, it's not going to be worth it, or that's too difficult, like I can't. And that's what a lot of people like, how could you even afford this van or have it? And I'm like, well, if you think it's too hard and too difficult, like you're limiting yourself.
Limiting mindset. We talk about that.
Yeah,
Sure
I mean,
did.
like that is what it. And so for us, it was not having that limit, and instead of saying, well, this is a lot of money or this is too hard with 4 kids, because we couldn't find anyone who did van life with 4 kids. Now we're finding more people that do it, but when we were searching, we couldn't find anybody.
We
So
even asked Van do it. They're like, so what's the setup like for
they're
4
like, you
kids?
have how many kids?
You know? And they're like,
Like
well.
4 is a lot.
So
I know.
but, and so yeah, that's why I think that they kind of attach to us too, you know, in that sense. They're like, well, they can make it work, let's see if we can get other families to make it work. Let's support them and do that. And it's just been the best partnership in that sense of I can't say any
Enough good.
Good enough
You
good
just
for
can't.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
you
yeah,
guys are being
overcoming
way
that.
showers. I mean, in so many ways,
Yeah.
right? Not just van life with 4 kids. And I mean, there's a few different layers of depth to this experience and to the things that you guys are doing.
Yeah.
So
It's hard. We
pretty
can only
amazing.
show so much on Instagram, you know, in 10-second blurbs, but really just trying to get that message out there that, you know, you don't have to limit yourself and your
Right.
station based on wherever you're at in life. Like you can do the hard things
Yeah.
and you can get what you want. You just have to put the work in and figure out a way.
I love it.
Put the
Absolutely.
work in
Put the work in and figure out a way.
and
I mean,
figure out a way.
I think you guys are definitely, you're showing us, you're showing everybody that's listening how you do it, but then also your kids. And I think the kids need to know that. Like, and I think about my kids and discussions with other parents and things like that. And kids these days, they don't really get that. Like, oh, I can work hard and get something. Or oftentimes I find that if it gets hard, the kids just quit.
Mm-hmm.
They're just like, nah, you know, whatever. And so I applaud you on raising your kids, on trying to learn that principle, because even as adults, like adults don't get that.
Yeah.
You know. So and I saw it in, like you mentioned in some of your posts when they're like, oh, like doubting you and all this stuff. And they're like, oh, must be nice, having all that money and all these things. And you're like, no, actually, we worked really hard.
Yeah.
um, and so it's like there
the
is
assumptions.
that. Yeah, a lot of assumptions. Don't do that. We talked about that.
Yep, don't make assumptions.
But you're showing, just not only your kids, but the adults, like, hey, you can work hard and you can achieve things. And that's a huge, I think your kids will excel because of that, because a lot of kids these days are just like, meh, it's hard, I'm not doing it.
Do you think they're old enough at this point to even really understand? Do you think that they've noticed and that they've seen, if you only have pizza one night a month, I mean, did they know that? Did they sense that? Did they feel that? Do you feel like they're appreciative of that process, of the sacrifices that you were willing to make to create this life, not just for them, but for yourself too, for your whole family?
Yeah.
Or do you think that they're still a little too young to kind of recognize some of those things?
Probably still a little young, but like one of the cool things we did when we were saving money and we talked to them about it, we were like, hey, we're not going to trampoline parks. We're not going to the movies. We're not, I told them we will do like one thing every other month. We'll go to the dinosaur park. We'll do one costly thing every other month while we're saving. And I'm like, that's it. And so why are we doing that, Mom? It's like, so we can afford the van, we can go on trips, we can do this, is that stuff you want to do? And they'd be like, yeah.
Well, then even to add to that, I mean, they saved up their own money.
Yeah.
Like
that's amazing.
They'd bring coins in a bag.
Like, Dad, I got coins. Here
See?
you go for the van.
We had a big coin jar.
Coin jar for them.
I love it.
We counted it all together, and it's just
it's like this group family team effort. You got them all on board, like straight from the beginning, and you can see it. I've seen some of your content where they're literally like building a van out of boxes to like play in, and so it's like but it just shows they just love it. They're taking ownership of it, and they're like, we did this thing as a family. So I think, and it might be when they hit teenagers or whatever, and teenagers get a little dumb, whatever, we all know that, but I think they will ultimately remember back and be like, yeah. And I think that it might not be that they voice like, my mom and dad taught me hard work, but they're just going to be like, oh yeah, like we do this and we do this differently because it's ingrained in them.
Yes.
And so they're like, we do this thing. And then they'll look at their other friends and they'll be like, why are you whining about this?
Yeah.
And
like,
that's what I think. Maybe they don't notice just because it's part of their life.
Right.
When we pack for a trip, it's like everybody helps. Like kids pack their own clothes. Everybody helps pack stuff in the van. When we get home, everybody cleans the van. Everybody carries stuff in. And that's what we're trying to develop of like, hey, we're here to have fun, but Mom and Dad are not doing all the work. We're a family. And so we all put that work in, and they're dang good little workers.
Yeah. And not only that, I think with the activities that we're trying to get them to do, it's hard. Like hiking. I mean, our 5-year-old went on a 6-7 mile hike, and she walked the whole thing, and
it's awesome.
Like what other 5-year-olds?
That's awesome.
And
she probably doesn't even think to question it.
No,
we're going.
That's what we're doing, and my legs are tired. I was like, well, let's sit and rest, and we'll have a little snack, but we're gonna go again in a few minutes, like. And same thing with biking, same thing with skiing. Like our 3-year-old that can ski, his little legs keep him, like the last weekend all day. We skied all day. We took one lunch break, but he skied like 6 huge runs, took a rest break, skied another 3 or 4, and and he's going from top of the mountain down. And it's just building not only the physicalness, but also just their mental too, like trying to say, hey, this is what we're doing as a family. We're going to do this hard thing. And
kids are so strong if you just let them be. They really.
That resilience though is amazing. And that you found a fun way and unique way to tap into that and to teach them and model so many incredible life lessons. I applaud you.
Thank you.
Do you guys help with other people's kids?
There's a lot.
Does Van Life at Van Go? That's who your van is through. Is that the company name?
Van Do It.
Van Do It. My apologies. Van Do It. Yeah. Do they want to maybe bankroll you a little bit more so that you can up to right. You can have a van life and then a daycare van life.
How to create tough kids.
Yeah.
Right.
There you go.
Come hang out with their van.
Yeah.
Sometimes though, I'm like, we'll do stuff with with some people, and I'm like, I don't know if you want your kids to hang out with us. Like, they might get mad at us.
We're going.
We push, on other Instagram parents, which I applaud them, but it's like, well, we just always take breaks or always do this. And I'm like, we're mean. We're like, let's go. We got a waterfall to see. Like,
We got an agenda and we got to hit every single thing. So
That's good. They'll love it still. They'll enjoy it.
we still have,
We
we
still
play
have
in the
little
dirt
breaks, yeah.
and we watch movies and,
I was gonna say,
balance.
I don't think you guys
No.
and I've seen you guys out in the wild, and
Wild.
and you guys don't look like. I mean, you describe being hardcore, but
Yeah,
you're
no.
still
Oh, yeah.
very, just loving parents. They're just you guys are just out there having fun,
Yeah.
and I see it. I'll come up and say what's up when I'm skiing by or whatever, but
Is that how you met? Was on a run somewhere?
no.
no,
okay.
no, we actually met at the Small Business Development Center,
Mhm.
Oh,
and they were
okay.
talking about their van
The
and
very
doing this
before we
thing.
did anything, we were
Yeah.
trying to get it set up. and-
Yeah, doing this thing.
Lauren
And-
hooked us up.
And then
Sure.
I was like, oh, you guys, I want to be like you.
Oh, well, he's like, after you followed us, it's like, we got a follower.
I was one of the first.
You was one of the
yes.
I think Lauren wants you to adopt him.
Yeah, can I be your kid?
We
It's
got
like he's
room.
liking
He
our
can
stuff.
at least help
We're doing
drive.
Yeah.
That's true.
Do I get an applesauce? And
We
a-
have a bucket seat. We'll put in the van for you.
Yes.
You have to pass out snacks. That's your job.
I got it. I'm good at that. That's so awesome.
That's awesome.
Well, guys, thank you so much. Like we could talk forever. You guys are so cool.
You're a lot of fun.
Thank you.
You're a lot of fun. I'm fanboying. I want to be like you.
I'm
gonna have to-
inspired. I wish I could have a do-over as a mom,
Yeah,
start a little younger
yeah.
with my
No,
kids.
beyond the van, like everything you guys do and all the cool things that you're instilling in your family and showing that love and growing together. So you guys are awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Yes,
coming on the
thank
show.
you so much.
As we wrap up, where can we find you besides outside?
Besides outside, we are outside a lot. So we are on Instagram at Adventure. You got to get the van part in there. Adventure46. We do YouTube stuff as well. We're trying to throw out some more trip recaps and just family fun. We just want to motivate people to get outside and connect with their kids. There's no better place.
All right.
Well, and Utah's a great place to do it in.
Yep.
Oh, we live in a great state.
Oh yeah, we're super blessed for that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you're doing a great job. So look for them, Adventure for Six, Instagram, YouTube, and then just look for the awesome van as you're out
Thanks, yeah.
camping
With the
this
special
summer.
wrap.
Yeah, if you see us,
Yep.
come say hi.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, I'm Lauren,
Lucy.
and this is Better You is Better Living. We'll see you on the next one.